The Cell Saga is often regarded as one of the best, if not the best, sagas in all of Dragon Ball. Personally, I love it a lot. It's filled with high stakes battles, unforgettable moments, and Gohan's long awaited rise. But at the same time, there's always been something about it that felt a little off to me. A lot of fans might have noticed how Gohan's personality during the Cell games felt somewhat different from the build-up we had seen in the earlier arcs. Despite being pushed into the spotlight as Earth's savior, he tried everything he could to avoid fighting Cell, even going so far as to cry and beg for the fight to end. And that reaction seemed unusual compared to how his character had been developing. Let's backtrack for a moment. In the very beginning of the series, Gohan was introduced as this shy, timid kid who wanted nothing to do with martial arts. Chi-Chi raised him to focus on studying, not fighting. But once he was thrown into life or death situations, his hidden potential started to reveal itself. After some training with Piccolo, Gohan became stronger. But when it came time to face Nappa, he still froze in fear. It was understandable. After all, it was his first real battle against a terrifying opponent. On Namek, though, we saw him evolve even further. Gohan fought the Ginyu Force, stood up against Frieza, and even clashed with Ginyu-possessed Goku. He was hesitant, sure, but he wasn't the scared child anymore. He was starting to grow into a real fighter. By the time we reached the Cell Saga, Gohan's journey seemed complete. He had trained in the hyperbolic time chamber, unlocked incredible power, and for the first time was expected to surpass his father. At the finale, he finally broke free from his crybaby image and unleashed his true potential, becoming the hero who defeated Cell. At least, that's how it looked on the surface. But if you look closely, Gohan wasn't as fearless as the narrative made it seem. Right before his transformation, he begged Cell to stop fighting. He wanted to avoid unleashing his full power and refused to embrace the role everyone was pushing onto him. This always stuck with me because it felt out of step with the Gohan we had seen before. On Namek, he didn't hesitate to fight when the situation demanded it. He even enjoyed training, as seen when he and Krillin practiced image training on their way to Namek. Future Gohan, too, never once begged the androids for peace. He accepted the fight and carried that responsibility until his last breath. So what happened? My personal headcanon is that Gohan was, in fact, genuinely scared. Cell wasn't just another villain. He was an opponent who even Goku admitted he couldn't defeat. Imagine being in Gohan's shoes. Your father, the strongest man you know, openly admits that he can't win and passes the burden onto you. Of course, Gohan was shaken. He was terrified, and that's why he cried and pleaded with Cell to stop. But when Cell pushed him to his limits by killing Android 16 and threatening his friends, Gohan finally shattered that fear and unleashed everything he had. That was not just power, but the courage to stop being scared forever. And in that sense, the Cell Saga is a perfect arc for Gohan's character. It took him from the timid boy we met in the Saiyan Saga to the warrior who conquered fear itself. Unfortunately, after the Cell Saga, his character shifted drastically. Toriyama originally intended to end the series there, and it shows. Goku was dead, Vegeta had retired from battle, Trunks returned to his timeline, and Gohan became a pacifist. The Great Saiyaman Saga reflects that shift, but even Toriyama admitted he got bored with Gohan as the lead, deciding that Goku was better suited for the role. Still, for me, the Cell Saga represents the peak of Gohan's character. It was the culmination of all his struggles, fears, and growth. The tragedy is that after this, he stopped being the hero he was destined to be, and Dragon Ball never fully recaptured that moment again.